Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and hello if you are new. So today I am building my dream tiny home. I'm specifically making this for an LP that I'm in the middle of just plotting and planning, and I knew that I wanted to build a couple of things before I actually started it, and one of those things is my dream tiny home. And in this LP, it will be starring my sim self, hence why it needed to be like my dream tiny home. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing today. I am building this in Windenburg. So for like in terms of like the exterior, like the outdoor wallpaper and stuff, I did want to make that resemble what's around Windenburg, as well as like the shape. I guess kind of the shape, I don't know. But yeah, but the inside is like totally like everything I ever like wanted in a tiny home, that is. There are some things that I can't have just because of the size of it, but I did the most that I could. And I think in real life I totally would live in a tiny house, only if I was living by myself though. I have a hard time just like living with people in just like a regular size house, so this would definitely be somewhere that I would have to live completely by myself, which is totally okay. And the way that I built this, I have definitely had to make room for a cat. In real life, I do have a cat. Technically I have two, but only one of them is like my cat, because the other one I got when I was like 12 or something, so it's kind of like my mom's cat, but also like my cat. But yeah, so for the inside, I did put a desk under the stairs because I felt like it fit pretty well there. I know I've mentioned this before, and maybe you just already know this if you've talked to me or anything, but I am a writer. I am trying to write a book right now, and so part of this LP will kind of resemble a little bit around that. It's also going to resemble a lot of other things, but you'll find that out if you choose to watch that when it comes out. And so yeah, I had to put a computer in here. And I think part of me in general is I'm a struggling writer. Like, I've been trying to write a book. I started in June, but I got caught up when I was doing teaching, so I kind of stopped because there was just too much to juggle, and I just haven't really picked it back up for a long time. And I keep telling myself, like, okay, you need to start writing again, but it just hasn't happened. So I don't know, at least my sim self would probably accomplish writing a whole book. I actually almost wrote a whole book once. Like, I was like 2 chapters away from finishing it, and then I lost it because I was dumb and didn't save it in multiple places. I just had it on my flash drive, and I didn't just have it saved on my computer because I almost lost it, just having it on my computer. And then I lost my flash drive that had it on it, so that was like 50,000 words gone. Yeah, it was quite sad, but it's okay because that was the book that I started writing when I was in high school, so like it wasn't too great. But the one that I'm writing right now, I'm not going to get into too many details of it, but it is an Alice in Wonderland rewrite, so I don't know, I'm really excited for it. When/if it ever gets published, I will definitely let you guys know if you want to read it, or maybe you don't want to read it, which is fine too. But anyways, back to the build. Since it is a tiny home, obviously there's not much that I can like go with, I guess. I don't know. I do put a nice couch in there, and I also put a TV in there as well as having like a nice little balcony, a deck area at the top, which I thought was really nice, so that way it was like a little bit more extra space, I guess. And then for the walls, I do tend to like dark things, which I mentioned before, and I also really enjoy the color red, so I thought it was a nice little touch having like red walls. And I do change the walls in this kitchen a little bit, and I decided to make the kitchen be a little bit bigger just because in real life I would enjoy having a little bit extra space in my kitchen, just because that way when you're cooking you're not just like using just this tiny space, and if you're trying to make like a bigger meal, it can just get into a mess. And then I really like the counters that I used in this build, especially like that little pantry like area. I don't even know what it's called, but I've never used these in any of my builds. Like, in my whole like Sims creating career, if that makes sense. But I did download a penthouse that used these counters, and that's when I realized I really like them. And then I just put a little bit of clutter since this kitchen isn't like too terribly big. There wasn't like too much that I could go with. But I do put that little like, I think it's tea packets or whatever on the counter, which is totally me because I have tons and tons of boxes of tea, but then I don't drink it a whole lot just because I don't like drink it ever. When I was studying abroad in the UK, I drank it all the time because I didn't like the coffee over there. Like, sorry UK, but your coffee is, I just don't like it compared to what I've been used to. And then I also, speaking of coffee, had to put a coffee maker in this build because I am obsessed with coffee. Even though I think it makes me sick sometimes. At least sometimes I get really bad sharp pains. This kind of turned into a little bit of a TMI type of thing. But I still drink it every day regardless, like, it's fine. And then I wanted to put a little shelf above the stove. First I wanted to put like a little salt and pepper shaker. And so I tried putting one up there, but then I didn't really like it. So then I decided, I'm going to put these antique looking things up here, which I actually really like the way that turned out as well. And then another time while I was building this, it was really weird because I had to keep thinking like, okay, what do you want, Michaela? Like, this is your house, like, what would you have? Because I found myself wanting to play some things, and I was just like, yeah, I don't think I'd want that. And then I would have to stop myself and be like, no, this is like your house, like, imagine yourself living here. So it was definitely different because usually when I build, I have like a family or like a sim in mind that I think would live here. So like I kind of create their character. But in this case, like I'm already a person, so like I don't know. It was weird, but it was also a lot of fun. Especially having it be a tiny home. And so right here I'm just kind of figuring out what I want to put else. I didn't want to have a dining table, which I was happy I was able to fit that, so I just kind of stuck it in the corner over there. And then obviously I have to have a cat food bowl. And when I start out my LP, I probably won't have a cat right away because I'm going to eventually create a sim video of me creating my real life cat. But I want to be able to show you guys my cat while I do that. But it's also totally like me to just have a bunch of cat stuff. Before I got my current cat, I was going to get a different cat, probably like a year before that. And I totally went out to Petco and bought a bunch of stuff for this cat. And I never ended up getting it because of some things that just had to happen. And then over here, above, I think it's like a certificate of something. But I imagine that would be like my degree or something. Since I did just graduate. And I also put all those postcards on a little post-it board because I do also really enjoy traveling. I have traveled quite a bit. Not so much anymore because I was able to travel a lot when I was studying abroad because it's super cheap to travel all over Europe. Like, I'm jealous of you who live in Europe because it costed less money for me to go to like Germany from Scotland than it cost me to go to like California from Washington. But yeah, and then above here I just put my bed, and I also put a bookshelf. I did want to have a dresser in there because how this house is built, there is no dresser. But then I thought, you know what, I would definitely have a bookshelf over a dresser. And then I put the rainbow hearts above my bed because you'll see why. Yeah, and then that's pretty much all I could fit in this little like lofted area just because it was super tiny. I had quite a hard time trying to figure out what rug I wanted because this is the one that I chose and it ended up being just a little bit too small, but hey, there's only so much that you could do. I wish you could like manually size rugs and stuff. Although they're probably like pretty funky, so probably a good thing that we can't. And then I go ahead and go to the exterior, and like I said, I did want to match it with the other houses in Windenburg. I chose this lot specifically of where I wanted my sim self to live. I just got get together and I am loving Windenburg. I think it's my favorite world. I think part of that is it does remind me of Europe a lot, and I miss being in Europe. I also really wanted to put a hot tub up here because I feel like I would definitely have a hot tub in real life, but it was not fitting. So instead, I just put like this little outdoor seating area, which I think would be so nice. Like, I wish I had like some sort of like deck or something that I could just go out and like, I'd probably like read or something, maybe tan, I don't know. One time I was dog sitting my aunt's dog, and she had a deck on her last house, and I would seriously just go out there and tan. And it was nice because it was a pretty private area. Like, there were houses around, but there were so many trees that it just kind of blocked off everything. So it was really nice, and it was just a nice little private area. And then I put some like plants and stuff over there, and I also put tons and tons of landscaping over here. And I think I would probably want to take care of them, but I wouldn't really know how. Like, that's kind of how I am with plants in general. Like, there's just so many things, like, I'm probably going to end up killing it somehow. But I would probably water it, and I'm sure half of them would die. Maybe I'd be able to savor some of them. But I kind of went a little bit crazy over here because I didn't really know what to do in like this little area. Like, I thought about having like a nice little patio area, but then I decided to do that like out away from it. That doesn't make sense. It makes sense to me, but you'll see that in a little bit. And then I go ahead and just do the like fencing or whatever with the rocks. And then for the fencing itself, I did want to make it a little bit more private, so I used these like grass things. That's not what they're called, but they're from vampires, and I really, really enjoy them. The only unfortunate thing about this is if you're on the outside looking in, you can see through, which doesn't really make sense. I guess maybe if I went on the other side and did this, then it would work, but that was just extra steps, and I like the way that it turned out anyway, so it works out. And then I thought, no, I totally want to have an in-ground pool. I have always wanted an in-ground pool, but I've never lived anywhere that I could actually have that. But you know, when it's in The Sims, like, you can do whatever you want, and you don't really have to pay that much. But yeah, so I put this little guy over here. And I really enjoy like all the stuff you can do with pools that you get with Get Together. Like, I like the color that I ended up making it. I make it, I think, just this color of blue right here, which I don't know, I thought was really nice. And then for the ladder, I used like that rocky ladder thing, which I also thought was really nice. And the pool is very, very small, but I'm also really, really bad at swimming, so that's probably a better idea for me anyway. And then in this corner over here, I just put some more plants and stuff, just to kind of fill out the space a little bit. Like I said earlier, I do quite enjoy plants and stuff. Like, I like the look of them and everything. I just don't really know how to take care of them or anything. I also really like these trees. I don't know, I put 2 of them in there. I don't think I've ever used those trees. And then I didn't really know what to do with this space over here because, like, everything else is like, that's the size I wanted, but then I had all this extra space over here, so then I just go ahead and put some random trees and everything, and just some like random stuff. Like, I imagine that maybe that isn't like completely part of the property, but like it is because it's part of the lot. But so I just kind of put some random stuff over there, and then I just go ahead and just fix a couple of things up. And then last but not least, I do the bathroom, and I was able to fit a shower, sink, and toilet in there. I couldn't put the letterbox in there, so that kind of just went upstairs in the deck area, which is fine. The only bad thing about this is there is no bathtub, and I do like taking baths a lot, so that's sad. But maybe later on, as the LP goes on, then my sim self will be able to move into a bigger house. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I don't know when this LP will come out, probably in the next few weeks or so. Like I said, I am doing the plotting right now. But please give this video a big thumbs up. Please subscribe if you are not already, and please leave any comments. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys!